I could go on and on about the problems that management has caused me. Iceberg. It really got worse ever since ICE did they raid. Right now, the building has been shut down by the city. And is in receivership under Freedman Community. But Freeman has not turned on the heat at all. Even though it's been in the low 30s some of these days, they have not fixed the lights in the hallway. It is dark. It is very dark in the building. It's scary. It's dangerous. They have not. They have not fixed the water in the sewage, water in the mold on the first and second.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I told you I need a computer. I need a computer. I need a laptop. I'm working on that. Working on that. That's why if people want to boycott Amazon and Home Depot and any other corporations for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, this is your chance to give me a computer or give me a laptop for the cheap because whatever. But I want to talk about this because I can't because I saw it yesterday and a couple of people sent it to me as well. And I do better with reading anyway. So I'm gonna get into this real quick. I got this. I broke my content phone, so I'm using my main phone until I can get this other phone working. But I have to do this because these people is crazy. I want to start with right here. All right. So yesterday, Block Club Chicago. First of all, I hope everybody is okay on this Tuesday, this muggy Tuesday. I hope everybody holidays is gonna go well. Hope y'all got y'all turkeys. Or if you don't eat turkey, you got your yams and mashed potatoes and all of those good things. All right, let me do this. But yeah, so the city gonna take the lakefront building. They're gonna take everything over there on the South Shore, and I'm going to break that down to you guys. Just the pattern. I mean, it's there. Um, you've got um, you got all these corrupt people that's in office. You've got Brandon Johnson that's tied in with the Obama Center, and they're trying to get this money on over there because they literally are trying to take over uh, South Shore, Auburn Grisham, um, Woodlawn, Bronzeville, Hyde Park, Washington Park, you know, all those people. So you guys can go on Facebook and stuff to go listen to what that girl Marshawn was saying. But basically, it says raided South Shores buildings tenants say they haven't received court order help. The remaining tenants have formed a union seeking immediate repairs and $7,500 each so they can move out, claiming the building's new manager has done nothing to meet court orders. They don't never meet court orders. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, they don't. That's a whole racket. It's been doing that for a while. But that's the group of black people that's out there. Some in wheelchairs. It says the few remaining tenants of the decaying South Shore building that was subject to a high-profile federal raid in September have formed a union seeking emergency funding so they can move out as soon as possible. About 36 tenants make up the new union stood outside 7500 South Shore Drive Monday morning to demand that the 130-unit building court-appointed manager immediately turn the heat on, hire security, and clean up floors still flooded with sewage. The tenants, some on Section 8 vouchers, are looking for $7,500 each so they can afford to relocate in the neighborhood. The demand comes after a judge took control November 7th of the long-neglected building from Wisconsin-based investor Trinity Flood after the absentee landlord defaulted on loans and her management company failed to repair many hazards following the massive raid. Cook County Circuit Judge Deborah Seaton then appointed Jared Friedman of Friedman Communities as the building's receiver, ordering him to secure the building and immediately work to move all its residents out. But tenants say Monday that Friedman has done nothing since taking over, only making the situation inside worse after flood properties managers' strength and management left the job. ICE was just the tip of the iceberg, said Mashonda Price, a resident of 3 years. My ceiling is caving in. The building is being destroyed from the inside out. Seaton previously called the building a waiting trap for a fire after hearing from city inspectors who testified it couldn't safely withstand the winter. She then ordered Freeman to file a written report by February 23rd, giving him an initial $20,000 for repairs. Freeman did not return a request for comment. Freeman is also co-CEO of a related company, Freeman Real Estate, that has drawn protests for letting federal authorities use the parking lot of one of his southwest side properties to stage immigration enforcement operations. The September 30th overnight raid at the South Shore building included hundreds of camouflage agents, some repealing from helicopters, arresting at least 37 people, many believed to be Venezuelan migrants, and zip-tying American-born residents, which is not true, and I wish people would stop saying that because there's no video. The video that y'all are showing is not, nobody has no pictures, no nothing. Y'all just going with a made-up narrative because y'all just don't want to admit that it was 37 illegals living in there, plus murders that was in there. It should have been, that building should have been condemned a long time ago, but they didn't want to condemn it because they are waiting for everybody to move out. They're going to try to give them some money. It's not going to be enough for them to go anywhere else. You got to think of credit. You got to think of finding a place. It's hard. You got all these now foreign landlords that do not want to, that's telling you that you can't move in there. Like, we really are messed up, Black America, if y'all don't start standing up. Like, the people, y'all got to start standing up. That's just what it is. Border Patrol Chief Greg Brazino said the raid will make for a safe and secure neighborhood, but the building was largely abandoned by residents after the operation, with those remaining saying they still living in squalor. They were still living in squalor way before he came to get these illegals. It don't have nothing to do with Greg Brazino. This don't have nothing to do with President Trump. This don't have nothing to do with Homeland Security, Chrissy Nome. All of the people need to be out of there, and y'all should have been fighting this for a very long time. But we don't know how to fight, or we choose not to fight, or we don't want the help, or any of those things. The city of Chicago, all the chambers in Cook County president meetings, the meetings over at City Hall, they should be wall to wall with people, wall to wall with us, especially after y'all just got these bills, after y'all got y'all property tax bills. I hate they're using the Venezuelans as an excuse, Price says. This building has been a problem. They're not using the Venezuelans as an excuse. It had to get them Venezuelans up out of there, them illegals up out of there. But y'all don't be understanding, because y'all care more about everybody else but your living conditions, Miss Price. If you care more about your living conditions instead of talking about it was an excuse, no, they had to get up out of there. Okay, there was a whole murder in there, 2 murders. It was a whole murder. They put the man in the concrete, buried the man in cement, may turn it into concrete. If you don't think that is a problem, then this is why you outside asking for help when people have tried to go over there to help y'all. You got a lady by the name of Ebony that's going around, that don't even live in that building, but going around lying, saying that they're zip-tied kids. We know that they're not zip-tied kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to start with telling the truth first. Telling the truth first. Then we're going to start with what law enforcement does. What does ICE do? And then we're going to discuss all of the illegals that were thrown in our communities with money. They had no problem getting them. I'm going to break that down to you in a minute. All right, let's go. All right. Now, a Black Club analyst found thousands of 911 and 311 calls made about the building the years leading up to the raid. But many of the 311 tickets were quickly closed. The building failed 18 of its last 21 inspections in the last 2 years. According to city records, the city filed a lawsuit over building codes violations in February. We need help, resident Darren Hightower said on Monday. Tenants are also demanding the Chicago Housing Authority to expedite inspections, which could deem the building uninhabitable for those living there with Section 8 vouchers. The CHA did not return requests for comment because they're not going to. They're not going to. The tenant union sent a letter to Friedman outlining demands, asking him to also remove rodents in standing water, fix electrical issues, and repair an elevator that can't make it up to the top floor. People need to get out as soon as possible, but that's not something that's going to happen tomorrow, says Infinity Gant, a housing organizer from Southside Together. Now, Southside Together do not do anything. They always show up to these things. I haven't seen them make any progress when it comes to this housing stuff. They're just a pawn. They're getting money from the city to act like they're standing with the people and stuff like that. Southside Together is a waste of time. All things need to happen at the same time. Monday press conference took place on the same day the Jackson Park Housing Pilot Ordinance took effect. I bet. Earlier versions of that ordinance, which stalled for 2 years without support from Greg Mitchell, 7th Ward, whose ward includes the rated building, would have covered all of South Shore and created a city-run office offering emergency relocation assistance to tenants navigating disputes with landlords. Gant said tenants have not received support or heard from Mitchell. On November 14th, Mitchell declined to answer a Block Club reporter's question about the building, saying that the raid was over with. Last month, he appeared virtually in court to tell Seaton the building has long been a problem. His office was working on with local police and Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. He encouraged the judge to clear the building of its remaining residents. Mitchell did not return a request for comments on Monday. I bet Greg Mitchell did not. I bet he did not. And you know why? You know why? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Something wrong with my internet. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get this. All right. My man up here so y'all can see who Greg Mitchell is, just in case y'all don't know who Greg Mitchell is, because they say he don't even show up to war night either. So this is Greg Mitchell. Now, I really don't have an issue with Greg Mitchell because Greg Mitchell did try to see if the city could make my family whole when they knocked down my family's building. But also, Greg Mitchell did tell me in the hallway that the City of Chicago Buildings Department has police powers to just knock down somebody's building, which is unlawful because you cannot knock down somebody's building without a court order. It has to be fire. It would have to be a whole bunch of the police would have to come in and explain. Nobody's not doing all that. So that's their excuse that they do to knock down our buildings in our community and stuff like that. Little buildings like that. So, but let me go back to now. The person who the landlord. Now this came out, but nobody really didn't talk about it. And I did receive it, but I've been so busy doing other things, stuff like that, that I did not put this out there. But Chicago Sun-Times watchdog report, October 23rd, 2025, says council members got campaign cash from PAC tied to landlord of South Shore building hit in immigration raid. A political action committee whose leaders include landlord Corey Oliver gave campaign money to more than a dozen members of the Chicago City Council last year, including Alderman Greg Mitchell, whose 7th ward includes the South Shore building. They're rated September 30th. The property manager of a troubled South Shore apartment building raided last month by immigration agents helped run a political fund that made campaign contributions to more than a dozen members of the Chicago City Council last year. The recipients include, of course, former 27 Ward Alderman Walter No Good Burnett, Mayor Brandon Johnson's choice to run. Mayor Brandon Johnson's choice. Come on, man, move. Not want to read about cats. All right. Mayor Brandon Johnson's choice to run the Chicago's Housing Authority. One of Burnett's campaign funds. God. Excuse me. Have to go back. All right. Mayor Brandon Johnson's choice to run the Chicago Housing Authority, one of Burnett's campaign funds accepted a $500 contribution this year from the Neighborhood Buildings Owner Alliance PAC. All right, these people about to piss me off now. Life was good. I am on the phone. This is making this difficult because I hate this computer. So it's slow. It's slow. I don't hate it. It's doing what it needs to do when I need it, but this is what happens. But I've subscribed to everything. I pay my little money a month for Chicago sometimes and all the rest of them. These cats, they keep showing me cats in Logan Square. That is the problem. I don't want to read about cats in Logan Square. I want to read about this pack. Excuse me, guys. Oh my God. I'm so tired of the internet. I'm so tired of AI. I'm so tired. I just want to go back to regular life. Regular not life. The issue too with this city is the data in this city for the Wi-Fi all around the city is slow. It's real slow, and I believe they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose because no matter where I go in the city, the Wi-Fi is just not as strong as it should be for the third largest city in the country. Like that right there is a problem too. So hold on, y'all. Now I gotta use this code. 694. I'll be in my mode. And they do stuff like this. All right. Now they say my shit is not. Every time when it's time to give the action, I can't never give the action when I need to give the action. But anyway, I gotta read this. I have to read this. Oh man, so y'all can see, so y'all can really just understand the play, man. The play is so messed up. It's so messed up what they doing to us, and we don't have no help. They have it so designed that they have all these black people that are in these places, in these positions, that we doing it to our own people. We doing it to each other. We doing it to each other. They don't and they all work together because they're all trying to get a piece of South Shore. They're all trying to get a piece of South Shore. South Shore, Auburn Grisham, Woodlawn. They knocked my family building down. That was in Auburn Grisham for TIF money. For TIF money, it's an opportunity zone. They're trying to make a strip mall there. They were going to do affordable. They were going to do their affordable housing. Not my mother's affordable housing. Not what she wanted to do. They're doing their own affordable housing. They had the grocery store right there that they've already took half my godfather's land for. And they were going to do their own thing. Just that's what they want to do. They don't want they're help with the help of these terrible Negroes that are in these positions. That's why we have to get out and vote. That's how we have, like Marshawn Price. So you've been living there for 3 years. You are smart enough to form a union. So if you're smart enough to form a union, then you're smart enough to run against Greg Mitchell. You smart enough to run against Greg Mitchell because Greg Mitchell ain't hearing y'all over there. You see the conditions over there. You're helping. You said there's some seniors that are on the 4th floor, but they can't get to the 5th floor because it's broken. Right? Hey, this is a damn shame. It was fine. Every time I change. I mean, I test all this before I go live. Everything works great. As soon as I go live, they're like, duh. All right, back at it. So I'm going to go start over because we had some more people that came in. All right, so we're going to where it says council members got campaign cash from PAC tied to landlord of South Shore building hit an immigration raid. A political action committee whose leaders include landlord Corey Oliver gave campaign money to more than a dozen members of the Chicago City Council this year, including Alderman Greg Mitchell, whose 7th ward includes the building raided by federal agents September 30th, which is 7500 South Shore building, the one that they made it like Bad Boys movie, Bad Boys Part 5. You know, they made it like it was all this stuff. Y'all messed that up. But they could have sworn, they could have got all the illegals out. All the illegals out of South Shore, Auburn Grisham, all that. But y'all start acting a fool. No, I don't know why they doing it to the people. They have to, we all immigrants. No, we're not. No, we're not, Ebony. Okay. Anyway. And then they gave Ebony a platform to just lie on all these multiple places for like 3 weeks straight. Oh my God. Okay, man. Yeah, gave me the password. All right. The property manager of a troubled South Shore apartment building raided last month by immigration agents helped run a political fund that made campaign contributions to more than a dozen members of the Chicago City Council this year. The recipients included former 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett, no good Walter Burnett, and his son is in there now, and he is voting just like him. He needs to be removed. So when it's time to get him up out of there, it's Walter Burnett's son, you're out of there. You're out of there. You're doing the same thing your no good father is. So that means that you're just as no good as him and the mother. Because the mother is trash too. Mayor Brandon Johnson's choice to run the Chicago's housing authority. One of Burnett's campaign funds accepted a $500 contribution this year from the Neighborhood Building Owners Alliance PAC. The political action committee leaders include Corey Oliver of Strength in Management LC, which oversees a complex at 7500 South Shore Drive that was targeted by a deportation operation September 30th. Election records show that 2025 contributions included $1,500 and 11th Ward Alderman Nicole Lee, $1,000 to 42nd Ward Alderman Brendan Riley, $500 each to 2nd Ward Alderman Brian Hopkins, 24th Ward Alderman Monique Scott, 34th Ward Alderman Bill Conway, 43rd Ward Alderman Timmy Knutson, and 50th Ward Alderman Deborah Silverstein. Also receiving money from the PAC, 36th Ward Alderman Gilbert Villegas, who got $6,000 in 2023. Former 12th Ward Alderman George Cardenas, now a Cook County Board of Review Commissioner, who was given $1,500. Cook County Commissioner Josina Morita, who got $500. Alderman Greg Mitchell, 7th Ward, the city council member representing the South Side Ward that includes the South Shore building, received $500 from the group in 2023. In addition to campaign contributions from the PAC, Oliver's company Strength and Management gave $300 to U.S. Rep. Danny K. Davis campaign fund in 2020. Davis is retiring. The company is the on-site manager, well, it was, of the 130-unit South Shore Drive complex where federal immigration agents detained dozens of occupants late last month. The raid exposed deplorable conditions the residents say they have complained about for years. The conditions include bug-infested hallways, feces smeared on walls, elevators not working, piled up garbage and crime, made the building unlivable and inhumane, according to one resident who said conditions took a nosedive after Oliver's company was hired last year. The owner is Wisconsin resident Trinity Flood. Oliver said this company is often brought in to manage buildings already in crisis, generally as part of a 12-month to 18-month stabilization plan. Many of the buildings we manage represent some of the most challenging housing situations in Chicago, Oliver told the Chicago Sun-Times in his first public statement since the raid. Our involvement begins because these properties are in distress, not the other way around. It's unclear whether Oliver's company or Flood knew in advance about the raid or helped agents navigate the building. Where are we at? As helped agents navigate the building. The Sun-Times reported the detailed maps of the building's layout were left there after the raid, which saw agents slide down ropes from black helicopters and kick down doors. The Neighborhood Building Owners Alliance PAC is affiliated with advocacy group of the same name that describes itself as the voice of the neighborhood housing industry and says it speaks on behalf of small and mid-sized housing providers. Its website points out to an October 15th report about immigration raids causing stress for Chicago building managers. It describes as a great example of how MBOA's advocacy ensures that the voice of neighborhood housing is heard in critical public discussions. Oliver and other landlords are among contributors to the Neighborhood Building Owners Alliance PAC. Though its government's filings listing him as co-chairman of the PAC, Oliver no longer has that role but remains on its board and is among a small group of people deciding where to put the PAC's money, according to group's chairman Aaron Bronstein. If they're pro-real estate or pro-development, then the group might give a politician a check, Bornstein said. He says years ago the PAC focused on evictions, but today it's interested in issues ranging from granny flats to property taxes. You hear that? So a slumlord PAC like this, because they're a slumlord PAC. So a slumlord PAC like this is done talking about the evictions. Now we're going to work on granny flats to property taxes. And what just went up on the south side and the west side? Drastically. Property taxes. So now you're putting a slumlord and their PAC in a position, this man right here, to go after these houses on the south side and west side, predominantly in Auburn Grisham, South Shore, Hyde Park, Woodlawn, Bronzeville, 70, so is it 79th? 79th where that side quantum is going? Stony Island. You put them in a position to take it, to go to the Cook County Land Bank, Go to your alderman and write them a little check, a baby check. A baby check for your home that you grew up in. That's your home that your family grew up in the neighborhood that you grew up in. Maybe you want to go back to that neighborhood. They have literally, they're going to continue to do it, and they're doing it with our own people to the front. All right. Morrissey also said the way Oliver has been portrayed by building occupants and new accounts as a very bad landlord is grossly unfair. My man, let me go back. The conditions include bug-infested hallways, feces smeared on walls, elevators not working, piled up garbage and crime, made the building unlivable and inhumane. And you talking about you feel that is grossly unfair to call you a slumlord, call you a bad landlord? Well, what do you want to be called? There was a murder there. Y'all let illegals move up in there because y'all thought the city was going to give y'all money for the illegals. What they probably did, they probably was giving y'all money for the illegals, but then it got out of hand. Then people started pushing back, and everybody started watching Chicago, and it started getting real crazy. So then y'all had to figure out how to move around and all that stuff, and you stopped paying. Then it went under foreclosure. Then it went all stuff like that. Yeah, right. Because you can't even see who Trinity Flood is. Trinity Flood, I guarantee you, she a little Asian lady. I guarantee you, Trinity Flood, a little Asian lady. You're gonna see no pictures of Trinity Flood. Now, he said, but bad landlord is grossly unfair, describing what happened at the South Shore building as a very complicated situation. Building residents have said conditions there got worse after Oliver's company took over in 2024. A foreclosure case is pending in Cook County Circuit Court. A consulting company run by former 49th Ward Alderman Joe Moore was paid $10,000 by the PAC. Hold on. Where we at? Yeah, by the PAC in 2025 as a fundraising consultant. Moore said Oliver is but one of several voices on the PAC, which focuses on politicians who listen to the industry and are sympathetic to our concerns, to their concerns. What concerns do the aldermen have? Because they don't do nothing. Burnett said he knows of the PAC through Moore. We don't know them. We know Joe, said Burnett, who said he's in a holding pattern on his CHA appointment. Boy, you're never getting that appointment. Okay? No, he's not getting that appointment. That's over with. And he can't get the appointment. His son shouldn't not even got his job. All right. So they all took money from the PAC. A PAC is over South Shore and all the other blighted areas. All the other blighted areas. Property taxes just went up. No one goes to jail. The tenants and the residents all are left unhoused. Because technically these 3 dozen people that are at the 7500 South Shore, they're homeless. They're homeless. But it doesn't matter if they're homeless because the city of Chicago does not care, especially because they want, especially us, especially Black Americans, especially Black people. They don't care. They want us on the street. They need the South. They need South Side. They need the South Side, and they're willing to sell out the whole South Side for their kickbacks and whatever is to stay in power, because we have nobody to oversee the corruption in this city. The judges are corrupt. The attorney general is corrupt. The governor is corrupt. The mayor is corrupt. The city council members are corrupt. The commissioners are corrupt. The people who work in these these departments are corrupt. We in a corrupt, it's corrupt. It's corrupt and we ain't got no help. And then when the person is willing to come in and try to take care of the corruption and try to take care of the crime first, because we got to get rid of the crime. We got to put a hold on the crime. Y'all hate him. Y'all hate everything that he's doing. But then what happens? Lady gets set on fire, 26 years old. Didn't think that she would be getting set on fire on her way home or work or wherever she was going on the blue line. And here comes a maniac who, because of Safety Act, but was he that crazy? Because he wasn't crazy. He wasn't crazy when he went and filled up the gas tank, and came and went on the tracks and threw it on her and then lit the message and said, "Burn, bitch." He wasn't that crazy. So now Holidays, she's fighting for her life. And burnt, half her body is burned. And then we got a 14-year-old freshman in high school killed a couple of days before Thanksgiving. Then we have another young boy that his vision may be lost for the rest of his life. That was down there critical. He's in critical condition. And all you hear are our elected officials talking about they will protect the illegals. They will protect the illegals. They will hands off Chicago, hands off the illegals, hands off these families. They can ram into these cars. They can fight ICE. They can fight police. They can beat up the police. They can go and harass them people, them police off them ICE and Border Patrol over there at Broadview. I even saw some fake Black Panthers. I saw some fake Black Panthers go down there and defend the illegals, knowing what we dealing with in our community. Why haven't you, Muhammad, whatever your weird self is, why haven't you put your black outfit on, your costume, and why haven't you went and go stand with Marshawn Price in there? Why haven't you been down there asking why are the property taxes going up and why are they so high in the South Side and the West Side, and we getting pushed out, black man? But no, you go and take your raggedy behind to Broadview to be like we stand with the illegals. What? And the illegals is just killing us financially, emotionally, physically. Do you think that Fred Hampton or any of them would be okay with them moving us out of our communities? You really think that is you're not even talking? No one is speaking about they're stealing our properties. They're pushing us out. They're making people I'm literally unhoused on purpose because they're retaliating against me because I'm speaking out. Do you think a turkey and some gravy and some stuffing is going to make my life better when I don't have no address? Because this city won't settle a case that has all the evidence to prove that what you guys did was unlawful. Y'all didn't knock down South Shore. Y'all didn't knock down 7500 South Shore. Y'all trying to condemn it, but y'all didn't knock it down. You know why you're not knocking it down? Because you need that infrastructure. See, you need it's strong. All you need to do is put a few millions in there, and now you're gonna make them luxury condos. But right now, the people in there don't got no lighting, ain't got no heat, don't got nothing in there, and you can't find nobody. But y'all talking about ICE. ICE don't got nothing to do with y'all about to be homeless out there in the holidays. You got this lady right here. Please make sure it's not on my hoodie. That's a brand new hoodie. I cannot afford.
Where's that?
You have my hoodie on.
Oh.
Man, I don't want. Yeah, I cannot get that stuff out my hoodie. And you got this lady, this the judge that gave this man named Friedman, Jason Friedman. So her Price, not Price. Sorry, excuse it. So Friedman Real Estate, or Jason Friedman. I think that's his name was Jason. So Judge Deborah Seaton, Cook County Circuit Judge. This is why you got to really pay attention to who you put in these judge positions, because she appointed Jared Friedman, and Jared Friedman as the receiver, ordering him to secure the building and work to move all its residents out. Right now, Masanda Price say that they haven't heard from him. They ain't got no money. They can't move out, even when they do come up with the money, because they always end up giving them the keys that day and then giving them the money. Then they have to go figure out where they're going to go stay at. $7,500 is not nothing. It's not nothing to move, and it's not their fault. Like, it's literally the city's fault. It's the city's fault, and then there's no reason why everybody that should be out of these. There's the 36 people that stayed there. Honestly, if CHA and HUD and the city, the buildings department, if they in the Department of Housing, if they were really good people and really cared about public servants and stuff like that, because it's not none of their money now. It's our money. All tax-paying money. They would make sure that each person has secure housing before they get their keys. That is what you're supposed to do. But you're about to add another group of homeless people on the street, because as long as you get them out of there, so y'all can start y'all rehab and then make them luxury apartments over there that overlooks the lake. And it's a 5 miles from the Obama Center that's displacing people over there that got cracks in it already. All that stuff. As long as they can put that on the ad that they're going to put out there, that's all that matters. Not that we just made 36 people homeless, blacks, people that live, born and raised over there, been in that community for a long time. Been in that community for a long time. None of that. Nope. So these judges, they are the problem as well. And the problem as well. As long as they bring somebody in there that's white and say that, and she black, as long as you bring somebody in there white and say, I'll take care of it, I've got my freedom, show little things, like, then they just hand it over to them. Why do you hand it over to Masanda Price? Why you don't hand it over to somebody that probably would help her, right? Or work with Friedman Realty or somebody like that and help put it together, right? Help her help them rehab it. Make sure that she has a place in there. Let her oversee it. Why you can't do that? That's too much like right? That's too much like right. So we deal with that. Then, hold on. So this is the please answer the phone or turn the thing down. All right. So this is Jared. Sorry, it says Jason. So this is Jared Friedman, right? So this is the guy who took over, who Judge Deborah Seaton gave to, right? 40 under 40. He's got his little Friedman realty company, clean cut. It's hard to pay. It's hard to save up rent when you don't, when they don't have, when you're not getting no money. And if you see the people that live there, they all probably on a fixed income. Okay, please stop with that too. Nobody has. At the end of the day, it's not about that. Okay, some people were paying rent. There were some people that was paying through Section 8. They just said they need Section 8 to come over there and help them do inspections, but they refused to go over there and do the inspections. Yeah, CHA is a big issue. CHA is one of the biggest issues in this whole situation. They are supposed to come in and help with this. HUD, all of them. They're the only company in the city that is green. They shouldn't be green. How everybody else broke but CHA? Chicago Housing Authority ain't broke. So this guy, I'm tired of that. And property taxes just went up. Ain't nobody like, we always make an excuse for the messed up living conditions that we're supposed to just take. No other race would take these living conditions. And no other race wouldn't be put in these living conditions. But we're put in these living conditions because we do not get out here and vote. We don't get out here and really challenge these people. We don't get out here and let them know, hey, man, we ain't doing this no more, man. Democratic Party just ain't for us. Y'all don't have nothing for us. Y'all don't care. Matter of fact, y'all got us on the street. So we might as well see what the Republican Party has to offer us, because we don't got nothing to lose, because you're literally putting us on the street. We done hit rock bottom. Why should a person still vote for Greg Mitchell? Literally, why should a person still vote for Greg Mitchell if he let that he been a alderman for 3 terms now? So why would you let? That's crazy. That's crazy that you got people living like that and you taking money from these people. I don't care if it's $500, $200, $25. The fact is, you took money from these people. Now, Jared Friedman, the one who now has receivership for 7500 South Shore. Jared Friedman serves as co-CEO of Friedman Real Estate, a leading full-service commercial real estate organization. As a second-generation leader, Jared has been instrumental in the company's evolution, helping implement the transformation from a single-source brokerage firm into a fully integrated platform encompassing multiple business units. Since joining the firm in 2017, Jared has overseen various divisions in helping grow the platform, which includes brokerage, commercial, and multifamily management, construction, receivership, mortgage banking, mechanical services, and advisory services. His leadership now, even this is Jared's leadership that do not return none of Rashawn Price's phone calls or responds back to any of what Rashawn Price is asking. because she is asking for the whole group of people. But this leadership ensures clients benefits from a cohesive approach across all service lines, enhancing value and efficiency. Under Jared's guidance, Friedman Real Estate has expanded its clientele to include private owners, REITs, private equity firms, banks, services, and Fortune 1000 companies. His commitment to creating value and fostering integrated solutions has solidified the firm's reputation, it has a reputation now, as a trusted partner in the industry. How are we supposed to trust Jared and Friedman Real Estate if they don't get back to Marshawn and the group? They ain't got no heat. They got water all in the hallways. The lights don't work. The elevator don't go up to the 5th floor. So people who live on the 5th floor who have mobility issues, what do they got to do? Of course, I know they probably have to help them carry up the last flights of stairs to go up to their floor, or probably can't come downstairs because they don't know if they'll be able to come back upstairs. But he has a reputation as a trusted partner in the industry. Before assuming his role as Friedman Real Estate, Jared gained substantial experience in the commercial real estate sector. He worked at Origin Investments in Chicago, a middle market private equity firm where he managed real estate investments across the Midwest and Southeast regions. Prior to that, he was the equity office properties overseeing a 6 million square foot office portfolio owned by Blackstone. Jared also served as an analyst in the real estate investment banking group at BMO Capital Markets. Jared holds a degree from Indiana University's Kelley School of Business. His return to Michigan in 2017 was driven by a desire to be closer to family and contribute to the growth of one of the nation's leading commercial real estate service providers. So I guess he's in Michigan, but he then took receivership right over here in Chicago and South Shore, right over by the lake. Jared Friedman, y'all. Jared Friedman. Yeah, but they're not. They can get away. The food part is we got it down pat that you're giving food away. Like we get it. We get it that y'all want to go because that's all you think that we're worth. We're worth turkeys, Christmas giveaway, toys to the kids, all that stuff. But y'all do not care about. Y'all do not care about stability. How many turkeys are you going to give somebody? What can I pay in turkeys? How can I keep my house with turkeys? If I take all these turkeys, will my property taxes go down? Like, yeah, of course. Yeah, like at the end of the day, we're talking about like right now. Everybody should be on a fast. Everybody should be on a fast because there's nothing thankful about this Thanksgiving when y'all seen them property taxes and the fact of what they're doing to Black Chicago. I'm trying to tell you, Black is the new homeless. We have nobody in office that cares, but they all are either got their real estate license or tied in with somebody who has their real estate license or working with some people who got some real estate license. They all need to be in jail. Every one of these people need to be in jail. They have to be in jail. That's the only thing I got an issue with. My beef is with Donald Trump and Pam Bondi. Like, y'all got to like, what's up? What's up? Come lock these people up. Come lock them up. They literally are pushing people out on the street and nothing is happening. Now, it always stems back to this lady right here. Let me get her. Because we can't, this is where the feds need to start. They need to start right with this lady right here. Let's see. See, the feds are going to have to literally come here and settle my family's case because the judges ain't going to do it. I would like the judges to do it because I would like to have faith that there are some good judges. But the judge ain't going to do it because of the ripple effect of what they've been doing in our communities. They've been knocking down our buildings in the name of police powers, and they've had it set up that they're paying the judges, the clerks, the lawyers, anybody that's affiliated in the judicial system to either hold it off or pay for what they want to say the stat. What they always they'll dismiss it without prejudice and say failure to state a claim. The whole claim is there. Then they'll try to say statute of limitations, but fraud don't have no statute of limitations. So when you argue that and fight that part, that fraud doesn't have any statute of limitations, then they just keep it, then they just stall it and keep it in court for forever because they know they lost. So that's why my group is setting themselves up to run for office. Y'all are getting up out of there, one way or the other. Y'all getting up out of there. Y'all going to jail. Y'all might as well start telling on each other. Do whatever y'all got to do. Y'all getting up out of there. Y'all is getting up out of there. Okay, come on, where you at? You should have I should have thousands of pictures of this lady. This lady is the reason. She should have been let go a long time ago, but she also has something on somebody. So she ain't going nowhere. Oh, there she go, right here. Marlene Hopkins. Marlene Hopkins is now the commissioner of the buildings department. She should have been fired when the implosion happened in Little Village when she was over her, but she doesn't get fired at all because she don't think about it. Now, it's race two, and I want y'all to stop saying that. It's race two. It's race two. They're not pushing nobody out Lincoln Park the way that they're doing us. They're not pushing nobody out of Rogers Park like they're doing black people over here on the south side and the west side. So yes, it absolutely is. It's not all, but we're going to say 65% to 70% is race. We're not going to play them games. Yeah, it's money too, but they want that south side. They want that south side for that lake. The south side is predominantly what? Black, right? Okay. So, buildings department. Now, buildings department maintains building safety for residents and visitors by enforcing the Chicago Building Code through building permits, building inspections, trade licensing, and regulatory review. The Department of Buildings promote high-quality design standards for new construction as well as where we at? Conservation and reuse of cities' existing buildings and rehabilitation. All right, now All the salaries that are in the buildings department is a total of $28 million. Okay, all right. Now this lady right here, this thief, this piece of doo-doo, this piece of boo-boo has been in the buildings department for over 20 years. So that's why I say she is to blame for a lot of this, and she really needs to be in jail. All right. Now, she gets a total of $204,000. I don't know why, and she need to take her pension and her salary and take her straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect the $100. Then the managing the deputy commissioner gets $188,000. Okay, and then they have a deputy commissioner, then a first deputy. All these commissioners in these buildings look the way they look on the south side, but we're paying them six figures. All right. Then you got the plan review, right? So you got an engineer, they get $141,000. You get project managers. We've got 5 project managers for buildings. They get six figures. Then you got an architect. Then you get an electrical inspector. Then you got a ventilation and furnace inspector. I don't know where these people are. Then you got a cooling plant inspector. Then you have an assistant commissioner. Oh, they took that out this time, so they don't have no assistant commissioner this year. Then you have a projects administrator, and then you have the vacant property management. You have the chief building construction inspector. What does this person do? Now, this person gets $107,000. Now, I don't know if this is a new job that they put in place, because last year I don't see it in the year before. But this year they're trying to push a chief building construction inspector. Then you have a supervising building construction inspector. They get $172,000. Okay. Then you have the building construction inspectors. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but they took 2 out. So now you've got 6 building construction inspectors. So you're spending $2 million on that. 2, 5, that's $6 million. Then you have a mason inspector, then a chief building construction inspector. Okay, you're spending $4 million on that. 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, we're at $11 million. Then you have the strategic task force. They get $7 million. You got a supervising building construction inspector, a supervising building construction inspector, building construction inspector, building construction inspector, building construction inspector, building. They all make 6 figures. Then you got the code compliance. That person gets they are supposed to review everything on a regular basis. They get $158,000. Then a staff assistant gets $108,000. So we're looking at $269,000 right there. Then you have the new construction inspections. They get $2 million. Over $2 million. All right.
I would count that as what they each average. How long we've been on each job.
Then we have the special inspections program, PPA. They get the chief building construction inspector, $107,000. The supervising building construction inspector. You know how many inspectors that I done said? As I'm on my fourth, this is my fourth page. They got inspectors in all of these departments. Okay, in the building, within the buildings department. Then you have the electrical code compliance inspection. They get $3 billion. Then you have the elevator code. They get $2 million. So if the elevator don't work over here, 7,500, and they got a person who has an elevator code compliance inspection. These people just inspecting elevators, they get $14 million. Sorry. Yeah.
You should count how many people. What's the average?
Sorry. 14,000. 14,000. And then you have it's sorry. It's 14 point. I don't even know this word, but it's a total of $2 million that they get to inspect elevators. Then you have the refrigeration inspection. So I guess that's for like the commercial and all that stuff. You get $1 million for that. And you get the boils. So yeah, basically everything is between like the construction equipment inspection. They get a total of $14 million. And then you have the short form, small projects, get total of $502,000 over there. Then you got the water fund, the plumbing inspector, where they need to go over there and check. They get a total of $1 million. So yeah, so basically everybody's a millionaire in the building department. And all these buildings that are on the south side have rotten. They violations are up to here. And they wait until it gets to the point that it's inhabitable, or just like 7,500 is, and then they start with the cash for keys. You understand? Cash for keys. They see it works, so they'll say cash for keys. Okay? Cash for keys. So this one, they want to do 7,500 for cash for keys. But her, I don't know if you guys remember, because this is what I want to get to too. Damn. Sorry, I know it'd be so long, man. I'll be trying to be on here for so long, but it just be so crazy. All right. All right. So March 28th, 2025. I don't know if you remember when Danielle, and shout out to Miss Linda, they went over to the south side, the one the building that they did the cash for keys thing too. They were slumlords. That's when the Indians was over there. Yeah, this was Crusader had talked about it. As Southside renters lived in slums, Chicago spent nearly $640 million on migrants. It's really $2 billion, but that's a whole nother stuff. In October 2023, a man claiming to be from the Cook County Sheriff's Office was banging on apartment doors in a building on 67th and Murrow on South Shore. He left a 5-day notice on Stephen Johnson's door asking for $3,000 in back rent payments that had been waived by a previous slumlord just months earlier. Made aware of this, both curious and suspicious, Cook County Sheriff's officers do not carry out evictions on Saturdays, and other tenants said they didn't see any police cars outside when the man began banging on doors. Investigating the incident, the Crusader journalist called the phone number on the notice. The person answering the phone line worked for Share, CHER, a property management firm that was now Johnson's new landlord. The staff member denied the company was impersonating in Cook County Sheriff's Office. However, after Crusader published the story, the firm never bothered Johnson again for the back rent. I bet they did. Today, Johnson is gone from the Merrill premises. He moved out after less than a year. Fed up with the mold problem in his apartment, he was one of the many tenants of Catalyst Realty, a slumlord that relocated him to another one of their properties after one he was living in was condemned by the city. So these slumlords and these real estate agents continue to get these buildings and have these buildings, even though the city condemns the one building. Now, our situation, you couldn't condemn the building because the building was being worked on. You couldn't try to take it for taxes, even though you were trying to take it for taxes, but my mother put it in a nonprofit. When you start asking for the TIF money, then that's when it was a problem. And when she still decided that she still was going to do her affordable housing, that she was going to do regardless without the city's help, they decided to knock the whole building down. But Catalyst Realtor, a slumlord that was able to relocate him from the condemned building that they had to another building that was just as bad. Okay? And the city condemned it because it provided no heat, no electricity to tenants in the middle of winter in 2023. So that's what they do too. So they wait until it gets cold. It's not too cold outside yet for them to go over there and tell all the people they get up out of there. Oh, we can't get no heat, and then they're ready to condemn it. And then she still keeps her job in her heat. She has her heat. She has her good Thanksgiving. She has her good Christmas, and all the rest of the deputy commissioners in the building department. Now, after 8 months after Johnson moved into his new apartment, another slumlord bought the building. You see how easy these slumlords can buy these buildings? Just like this. Slumlords can buy the buildings. But let you be a regular citizen that lives in that community, raised in that community, want to go back to that community, may want to link up with a couple of other friends that want to buy it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. But slumlords after slumlords after slumlords can continue to get these buildings. And this lady right here will never, ever. You know how much money that the buildings department can make if they do the right thing? They don't care because they're getting paid. After 8 months, about 8 months after Johnson moved into his new apartment, another slumlord bought the building. So we look at 3 slumlords. Sheriff's trying to intimidate us by making this feel like an eviction when it's not. They do illegal evictions. They don't get locked up. They don't go to jail. None of these things. It's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. This would not have happened to Johnson had he been a migrant living in one of the city's well-funded and well-equipped shelters. But instead of being among the haves, enjoying the comforts of a warm, clean home, he lived in slum properties with the have-nots under a landlord who, like predecessors, ignored and neglected repairs while expecting tenants to pay their full month's rent. While the city's residents lived in unacceptable conditions, arriving migrants across the city were showered with food, clothing, and hundreds of millions of dollars from local, state, and federal government. Today, over 52,000. Now, that was October of 2020. Is that 4? 5. March 28, 2025. 52,000 migrants have settled in Chicago to start new lives. 52,000. Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration, with the help of the state and federal resources, has spent a whopping $638.8 million on the migrant population. But I promise you, we're at $2 billion. You can't FOIA no more. They stopped giving the receipts. So you only give FOIA up to $638 million. About 63% of that money was spent on the medical personnel firm Favorite Healthcare Staffing, which provided $400,374,370 in healthcare services. About, hear that? About $128,986,000 was spent on helping migrants find housing through the services Equitable Solutions to feed daily families to the migrants. Nearly $25 million was spent on services from Open Kitchens Incorporated, and over $21 million was spent on 77 community meal services. The migrants had their clothes washed by Laundry Ops or OPPS LLC, with whom the city spent over $3 million on services. Culver Transportation and Hanco Enterprise provided over $2.3 million in transportation services to ensure the arrivals' safety, and the city paid at least 3 security firms a total of $3 million to keep migrants safe and secure. 14 Parish LLC, a Black-owned Caribbean restaurant in Hyde Park, has been paid over $15.3 million for serving the migrants and spent over $425,000 to sophisticated events and designs. Now, the voting record of aldermen on migrant issues. I want y'all to listen to this close. We're going to start with Ward 3. Ward 3. Alderman Pat Dow. The $51 million? Yes. She said yes. The winterized tent in Morgan Park? She said yes. The referendum for us to see if we wanted to vote on the sanctuary city? No. But she did say another no when they were trying to get to $70 million April 29th of 2024. All right. Then we have Lamont Robinson. Lamont Robinson, Ward 4. Okay. What's her name? Tony Dwayne Preckwinkle's godson. Her baby boo. He said yes to the $51 million aid. That was on May 31st, 2023. He said yes to the winterized tent in Morgan Park. The referendum, Sanctuary City, he said no. We will not vote on that. No, we will vote on that. Wait. Let me read this. Let me make sure this is right. Yes, he said no. He doesn't want us. He didn't want to let the people vote to see if it should be a referendum for us still being a sanctuary city. And then he said yes to $70 million. So he said yes to all the illegals, no to the Chicago citizens. He should be losing his seat. He is the reason why your property taxes is up. Desmond Yancey, he said yes to the $51 million, and he is in the 5th ward. Desmond Yancey said yes to the $51 million in aid, May 31st, 2023. He also said yes to the winterized tent in Morgan Park. Now, mind you, Morgan Park, winter tents. When we were trying to do one in Brighton Park too, this was the one over there in Roseland. I did a video over there. I went out there. I got repost that video. Me and Howard Ray, we went out there. Yes. We cannot vote on if we wanted to have a sanctuary city or not. And yes to $70 million. Desmond Yancey should be voted out. William Hall, pastor, R&B singer, alderman, William Hall. He said yes to everything except the sanctuary city referendum. No, we cannot have an option because he's going to do whatever Brandon Johnson tells him. How high? I'll go as high as you want me to. I will. I'll be everything to you. I am your man, and I will forever be your man. And that's exactly. He votes for everything for our own demise. He does not care. All he does is just get in that. He doesn't care. He's the worst. He's really the worst to ever do it. He's the 6th ward alderman. The reason why your property taxes are up because of William Hall, Desmond Yancey, Lamont Robinson, and Pat Down. All right, we're talking about Greg Mitchell here. Greg Mitchell, 7th ward, $51 million. He said no. For the winterized tent in Morgan Park, he said yes. For the referendum for the sanctuary cities, yes, he voted that yes, we need to have a say. And then Greg Mitchell, he said no for the $70 million aid. So do as you want with that. I know he did very terrible with this South Shore building, that 7500 South Shore building over there. He should be taking care of all them residents over there. He should be meeting with Marshawn Price, and they need to be coming up with a plan. Because Marshawn Price, she's a very smart girl. She's a very smart girl. She's just not guided in the right direction. But Marshawn Price, we will definitely guide you in the right direction if you want to be in the right direction. And that is going against Greg Mitchell. Because at this point, Greg, all right, y'all girl Michelle Harris. No good Michelle Harris of the 8th ward. All right. For the $51 million aid, she said no. Michelle Harris for the tent, she said yes. Michelle Harris for the referendum for a vote on the sanctuary city, she said no. Michelle Harris said yes to the $70 million in aid. No good, Michelle Harris. 8th ward. She needs to be removed. She needs to be removed. The window or the stairs. She's been there too long. Anthony Bill of the 9th ward. $51 million in aid. He said no. Winterized tent, he said yes. Sanctuary city referendum, he was one of the people that stood up and said that it needs to be on the ballot, him and Ray Lopez. So, of course, he put yes. $70 million in aid, no. All right, what we got next? We have Stephanie Coleman, Sweet 16. Stephanie Coleman. What she call herself? The Englewood Princess or something like that? All right. Well, or 16th Princess, something like that she called herself. But anyway, let's see what my girl did. All right. For the $51 million, of course she said yes. For the winterized tent program, in the winterized tent, yes. Put them illegals in Roseland out there in the cold in a tent. Yes, let's do it. Referendum for the sanctuary city, she was absent, so of course that was a no. And then Stephanie Coleman for the $70 million aid, she did say no. All right, then we got David Slowface Moore of the 17th ward. Just sold his whole vote for a field house that's never going to get up in the 17th ward. All right. For the $51 million, he said no. For the winterized tent, he said yes. For the referendum, sanctuary city, he said yes. We wanted us to vote on it. And then no to $70 million in aid. Then you have Derek Curtis of the 18th Ward. He said no to the $51 million, yes to the winterized tent Morgan Park, yes to the referendum for us to vote on it, and no to the $70 million in aid. So they all said yes to the winterized tent Morgan Park. So I'm just gonna let y'all know that. Jeanette Cryan Taylor of the 20th Ward, who say that she's not American, she's from Africa or something like that, and she should go there and take all her African garb and everything and go over there. She said she got dual citizenship, so she should go over there. But she said yes to the $51 million, yes to the winterized tent, the referendum, sanctuary city. She said no. So no, she's not going to give us a no, we can't vote on it. And no to the $70 million alderman. Anybody that voted no, that couldn't be on the referendum is control, and they shouldn't be trusted. Y'all property taxes is through the roof because the majority of these people on this voting record on migrant issues all voted for this money or did not vote for the sanctuary city to be on the ballot so the people can vote on it. All right, then we've got Ron Mosley. Ron Mosley, man, of the 21st Ward, he said yes to everything. So yes to the $70 million. Yes, it should be on the board. On the ballot for us to vote on it. Yes to the winterized tent, but he did take it back. The yes for that, I do remember that, but then he put it back, I guess. And then $51 million for the aid. Then we've got 24th Ward, Monique Scott. She said no for the $51 million. Yes to the winterized tent. Yes to the referendum for the sanctuary city. Yes, we should have a choice. And no to the $70 million aid. Then you have no good Walter Burnett. That's no longer in there, but now he's replaced with his no good over the rainbow son, who's just as bad as him. The dress is good though. $51 million. Of course, he said yes. Winterized tent. Of course, he said yes. The referendum, sanctuary city to vote for it. Of course, he said no. And the $70 million aid, yes. That's why he needs to go to jail. Jason Irvin, of course. Of course. He did everything what Walter Burnett did. Yes to the $51 million. Yes to the winterized tent in Morgan Park. No, we cannot have a say if we want a sanctuary city on the ballot. And yes to the $70 million in aid. Then you got Chris Talaferro, who put yes for the $51 million in aid. The winterized tent Morgan Park, he put yes. The referendum sanctuary city was a yes. We should have a vote. Yes, we should have a right. And then for the $70 million in aid, no. Then you have Emma Mitz of the 37th Ward. She said no to the $51 million, yes to the winterized tent Morgan Park. She was absent for the sanctuary city referendum. And they probably paid her to stay home because that was the whole thing with what's my man? Carlos Romero Rosa, who's now head of the park district, the same park district that closed down those black drummers. Yeah. Well, Mayor Brandon Johnson it got to be his side piece. So he let him be over the park district, and then even put Maurice Robinson over there, got him a little job over there too as the legislative affairs for park district, something crazy. But this is the whole reason why the whole referendum thing was a big thing. They were trying to censure him, all these things, but she turned absent. She was absent for that. And then she said no to the $70 million in aid. Mayor Johnson, of course, he said yes to the 51 million, yes to the winterized tent Morgan Park. No, we don't have a say when it comes to the referendum, sanctuary city, and yes to the $70 million in aid. All right. City council vote for the first was on May 31st, 2023. City council vote for the winterized tent for Morgan Park, November 7th, 2023. City council vote on the referendum sanctuary city was December 14th, 2023. And city council vote on April 19th, 2024 was for $70 million in aid. So yes, and you guys will be reminded of this because midterms is coming up. It's time. It's time to revisit. I just did it. How many of those 52 got deported? I don't know, because it was about to be a civil war out here. So I'm just saying, this is what you're dealing with in this city. Okay. And this is how those people vote down there. So when you see the south side and the west side got hit hard with the property taxes, on top of the slum lords are out of control, and the city doesn't care, because as long as they throw something in their pot, they don't care about any of those things. And I want y'all, because I'm trying to say, the South Shore is very, 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 like, they're trying to tell you, they're trying to take South Shore. Like, I mean, they're trying to take it, and they're not really hiding it anymore. They're really not hiding it anymore. And they don't care. The cards are out. They see it, and at the end of the day, it's made the best person win this election, because if Donald Trump, I want Donald Trump to come. I want him to do Operation Grey Lord. But at the end of the day, I ain't waiting on nobody. These people getting up out of office. And we'll do our own Operation Grey Lord. But I do believe that he is going to do it for us. He's going to start it for us. He's going to pass the baton to us, because these people are going to prison. Now, remember, December 23rd, 2024, there was safety concerns that forced illegal aliens from South Shore apartment building days before Christmas. Questions remain after dozens of migrants in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood were forced out into the cold just one day before Christmas. Now, city personnel came in. They came on a large South Shore apartment building located at 74th and South Phillips on Monday, December 23rd, with a heavy presence of Chicago police officers. Okay? According to spokespeople for the office of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, the migrants were evacuated due to unsafe conditions. You heard that, right? Evacuated due to unsafe conditions. Now, what's happening over here on 7500 South Shore? They living with poop on the walls, and they can't get up the elevator, and there's no heat and no electricity, and there's bugs all over the place, and they can't get no help, and all of that. But not for the migrants, not for Brandon Johnson migrants. He had warming buses waiting for them. The Salvation Army were among various city agencies on hand to support the removal. Now. Right. is coming out there with their 43-inch and 60-inch TVs that they got, from our money. They was balling when they first came out here, balling. Some of them said they lost important documents, their clothes, their shoes. This one person said we have paid a month of rent of $1,200, and it's only been 10 days. At least they gave them money to pay their rent. While we making excuses for anybody else, nobody should be paying no rent at this point. All the money they done gave, all the taxpaying money they done gave, nobody should be paying no property taxes. All the free money they gave these illegals to live anywhere they want, start a new life. All right. So they were transferred to the intake center, new apartments, and new life shelter. So if they were able to, if Brandon Johnson was able to get his migrants, into shelters, apartment buildings, and to the city's new intake center, I don't understand what the problem is with the people over there on 7500 South Shore, especially when you got them out here lying, saying that ICE was zip tying babies and stuff, and that y'all still running with that lie. So I'm just trying to figure out, where is Cindy Soto? Where is this lady right here from the buildings department, and anybody else, Department of Housing, all those people with Catholic Charities, the CTA with the warming buses? Where are y'all at to come take care of the people that's at 7500 South Shore? And Marshawn Price, that's where I would start at. I would go down there, down to the city hall, down to the city hall, and down to Cook County. And I would have to ask, where are my warming buses? Where are my city services? Where are the city services for the elders in here? Where is the civil service for the people who are disabled in here? Where are our services? Where are our services? This is where the city, we have to sue the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, and Cook County for the sanctuary city policies and how they have really hindered us. Honestly, they have destroyed us. They have destroyed housing. They have destroyed the trust. They have destroyed the south side. They have destroyed the west side, destroyed the north side. They've destroyed downtown, because you have to understand, downtown had 2 shelters. It had the standard shelter, and it had the shelter in the Chicago off of the Magnificent Mile. None of these people should be in office. None of these people should have been in office. It's a mess. It is a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. And it's a mess because you've got somebody that's been in the buildings department for over 20 years and letting all these buildings be run down like this because she getting paid. And she has something on top of other people. She's been so sick and a slum and a bum and a corrupt employee for the city for forever, because she's part of the machine forever, that she is okay with what she does. Her and David Moore be laughing and stuff when I be calling them out on the mic. Like, girl, you need to go to jail. And I'm pushing for them to come investigate just you by yourself, because you've been in there for 20 years and you know how the building department works, and you literally are doing this to your own people. it be your own people. On top of these white developers who allow it to happen too, because if they don't care, if these people don't care for us, why should they care? And that's how politics work. That's how all this works. You have to start standing up for yourself. You have to start going down. We have laid, me, Miss Jessica, Mr. Blakemore, Danielle, and others have laid the foundation to go downtown. When next week, it should be packed at every meeting. It should be packed in the hallways. It should be chants. It should be asking for President Trump to please come here and look at these bills, look at these property tax bills. Please look into these. Please look into why they're trying to take the South Side. Please look into the Obama Center. Please, we need federal intervention. It's Operation Grey Lord 2.0. It's RICO time. It's RICO time. These people have to go to jail. They have to go to prison. El Prisión. Madigan, they gave Madigan time. No, we want them. We don't want to wait until they get 80. We want them in there right now, fresh in there right now. Right now. They are terrible. They are the worst. This is DEI at your finest. Like, this is DEI at your finest. These people have to get out of office. She is the first one. You've got a lady by the name of it's a Kimberly Moran Roberts. She is she's a corporate counsel for the buildings department. She ain't doing nothing. None of them ain't doing nothing. We spending millions of dollars on attorneys for the city of Chicago. They don't do anything. Everybody incompetent. We in one incompetent world. Like, one incompetent world doing one. It ain't no, like, honestly. Like, you got to pray every day to give you the strength to bring yourself to 121 North of South Street and 118 North Clark Street. Then we need to start posting up at these people's houses. We start posting up at these people's houses and start explaining how much money they get and how much damage they have done to the community. You gotta start embarrassing. That's the only way, because that's what we live. We live in a society that you have to start exposing these people, because it's never going to stop. It's never going to stop, and we cannot wait on anybody. We don't have no saviors. You know who our saviors are? Ourselves and our ancestors that continue. That's to expose this, to show you God is letting us, like, hello. I can't make, like, God can't make it any clearer than what they did with this illegal immigration Ponzi scheme scam. Also, the crime that's not getting better. The crime is rising. It never went anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere, because all the resources that they had for the children have been stolen. Like, y'all, like, come on, man. Like, y'all don't understand. We ain't got no. I said the other day, but we don't have no generational wealth. The secret society, because that's what the Democratic Party is. The Democratic Party is a secret society with the help of these black boule, and if you ain't in the in crowd, they can't help you, and they're not gonna help you, and they're not. But they're being exposed, and they're gonna continue to be exposed. Just like somebody brought up the other day about how these Muslims are now trying to work with these gangs. And it's not for a greater good. Like, the Muslims is really trying to take over Christianity. They're trying to take over, like, nah, all this stuff, like, nah. So I'm for Trump dismantling everything on the federal level, and we need to dismantle everything from the local level, and the state level. Like, it's going. We all gonna have to come together. But Southside, they're literally trying to take at the little bit that y'all still have. The little bit that y'all still have because of that lake, they're going to take it. They're going to take it if you do not start rising up and demanding that we get federal intervention involved. We want the federal intervention involved because they need to look at CHA. They got to look at HUD. They got to look at the buildings department. They got to look into aldermen like Alderman Burnett, Moore, any of them. This don't make no sense. The Department of Planning, TIF money, the CPS, CTU, all of this. You just saw what CTU tried. They tried to say they responded back to the committee that asking for them to release the audit so they can see, and they try to say that it's available to the it is available to the CTU members now. I mean, it's available to the CTU members. All of a sudden, it's available to the CTU members. If it's available to the CTU members, then why the lawsuit's still over there in federal court? Everything is on the federal. Everybody got a case in federal court just waiting. Just waiting. We need a new attorney general. We need a new governor. We need a new mayor. We need new city council members. We need new governor. We need new state reps. We need new state attorneys. We need new commissioners, and we need new employees. New employees and all. Like, she needs to be fired. Sierra Boatwright. Everybody that is not that are in these departments that are unqualified, they all have to go. They all have to go with their pensions. Honestly, they don't deserve anything. How you sell out your whole community? How? And get mad at me, Miss Jessica, Danielle, or anybody else to call it out. How? Be mad at yourself that you literally really thought that everybody was dumb. Because I'm far from dumb. And then clearly this was my calling. Because I would have never known that we was in this much trouble if they didn't play with my mother. And my mother, thank God that my mother never gave up. Because wow, it's sick out here. And it's sick in every court system in this city and in this state. So yeah. So in conclusion to the situation with 7500 South Shore, I know Danielle reached out to the girl, Marshawn Price. Hopefully she does reach back out. And honestly, if I were you, Marshawn Price, you sound like you got a good head on your shoulders. You mean well. And I think that you need to start going downtown, expressing your grievances on that mic. Smart doing the press conference. Southside Together is not going to help you. They're not going to help you at all. I've watched about 2 or 3 people have faith in them, and they still lost their home. So they're not going to do anything. They end with Brandon Johnson and Jeanette Taylor and all of those, Desmond Yancey and all of them. So they're not going to help you. You have to save yourself. And the way you can save yourself is to get yourself in position to run against Greg Mitchell. I would ask to meet with Greg Mitchell first, because Greg Mitchell can help you. Greg Mitchell can get them 3 dozen people a place to stay. And Greg Mitchell, you need to do that. That's the least that you can do, especially if you took money from that slumlord pack. Do the right thing. You've been there 3 years. You're a leader. You're supposed to be a public servant. Get whoever you need to get on the line and help those 3 dozen people over there and fix it. And if you don't, and yeah, Chicago HUD has their own inspector general, but Chicago HUD is terrible too. You need outside inspector generals. These inspector generals do not care. These are all internal. We need external. We need, honestly, the inspector general of God to come down here and fix all of this. None of these internal inspector generals are to be trusted. None. They all are sick. Chicago Police for years.
Hello, hi, how's it going? Just to let you know, it's been recorded. So we got a call from your daughter, letting us know that she wanted us to do a triple being on you because she tried calling you but you didn't answer. Okay, yeah, we just wanted to make sure everything was okay. Fine.
Where's your daughter? I got 3 of them.
I'm not sure. She said she had a package coming.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to make sure that you
Oh.
got the package as well. She said she was calling you for that reason. Yeah.
Okay.
You're all good? Everything's okay?
That's okay.
All right.
Well, thank you, finalists. We appreciate y'all.
No problem.
Take care. Blackie. Girl, go nuts a little.
Yeah, that was CPD trying to make sure that my mother was okay because my sister is addicted to food and she had my aunt send us some oxtail and she wanted to make sure that we got the package. So my mother wasn't answering the phone, but her phone was on silent because I'm on live. But thank you, CPD, for checking in. We're fine. And my sister Anna, Scotty, your oxtail is here. All right.
Not gonna open just
but yeah, well, I need to call her, tell her. But yeah. So at the end of the day, that's right. That was nice of them. I ain't got no issues with CPD. Now some of them, I don't know, it's getting kind of scary out here, but I also know that it's probably frustrating because they can't do what they would like to do because we have a incompetent mayor who thinks he's a nationalist. So I want y'all to understand this too. This man, Kennedy Bartley, his right hand, he says that he's a nationalist. He thinks that he's a nationalist. So that's it. That's basically it. Really, I've been at this discussion. The discussion has been here. I've been on here for 1 hour and 57 minutes. So maybe you have to go back and look at the discussion. So yeah. But he believes he's a nationalist. So as a nationalist, in his mind, he's not where he should be as a mayor of the city of Chicago. And then no one did not come out to vote, which really was a problem because he loves to say things like the city of Chicago voted for me to do these things. No, they did not. The city of Chicago did not even come out to vote. So again, you guys have to come out to vote. And you cannot vote another Democrat in. The Democrats don't have no solutions. They're never going to figure out how to get your bill down. They're never going to figure out how to get your property tax bill down. They don't care. They have to continue to run on a problem and say that they're going to figure it out. They can't. You have 36 people that are still over here at South Shore, 7500 South Shore. Now, the way that they made how big that was of a raid and how they tried to make like ICE and Bovino and Chrissy Nome and President Trump, like they came and demonized those people and just left them for dead and left them for good. All that stuff, made to the point that ICE didn't come back to go get the rest of the people that need to get in the communities because they made it such a big thing that they shouldn't have made it. But because they did that, you have 36 people over there and they're not getting no help from nobody. Not getting no help from nobody. Had that lying girl that lived across the street named Ebony going around telling people she saw them kids zip tied. The kid wasn't zip tied. Y'all still running with that, huh? You okay, Mom? Still saying zip tied. You know, you got she went to anybody that went over to try when we got there, and as soon as we got out the car, she automatically came over there because they were paying her. I don't care what nobody said. They was paying her to watch her. If anybody, any news people come, anybody come, they say that yeah, they was zip tying them babies and it wasn't no illegals in here like that and stuff like that. But they had to finally say in the last article, 37 Venezuelans was detained. But she was going around saying it was like a few Venezuelans, but it wasn't that many Venezuelans in here, but they weren't hurting nobody. Yes, they are. They made our property taxes go up. It's abuse. 52,000 illegals that's in this country, that's in this city, is the reason why our property taxes is through the roof. And you don't hear Brandon Johnson talking about it. You don't hear William Hall talking about it. You don't hear none of them people that I read off that voted for all this money talking about them property taxes. But they are the reason, with the help of them and the help of them Hispanic KKK and some of them white them white aldermen down there, the white liberal gay racist aldermen down there, Timmy Knutson and Brent and Lawson, Gay Lawson, is the reason why y'all property taxes up to the roof. And you're not gonna get no help. You got to save yourself, and the way you save yourself is we gotta move. We gotta move in the ball. We gotta move. We gotta move in big. Like I'm trying to tell you, start coming downtown. When I say the whole, that's our building down there. 121 North and South, 118 North Clark, Daily Plaza, all that. We should be bumped everywhere. Maria Papa, it should be out the door. And people should be like, no, I need to talk to Maria Pappas. She gonna break this down to me. I need to understand how was Tony Dwayne Preckwinkle's budget able to be balanced when our budget over here on the other side, 121 North and South, we still in $1 billion of debt. I'm confused. Like, explain it to me. Explain it to me like I'm in 4th grade. Well, we don't want you to lose everything. You come down there. All right. Yeah, you gotta see. This is crazy. This is crazy, and you're not getting no help from these raggedy elected officials and these government employees. Yes. When y'all say, gotta move together. When I say that I'm so glad that these people getting laid off and I'm dismantled on a federal level, yeah, because y'all need, because the ones that, I'm trying to tell you, the ones that don't need to be getting laid off, they're laying them off, and then people like her needs to be gone. Other people, that's all these deputies, all these stuff needs to be gone. But then you got people like the public health workers that you do need. You're laying them off quietly though. Quiet. Nobody would know to be laid off if they didn't tell us. Also procurement services. That man didn't come downstairs. He didn't come down City Hall to explain that if this budget is passed, he's gonna lose his job. Ain't nobody talking about it. But this lady right here, who is the slumlord of the buildings department. This lady right here, of 20 years, she gets to keep her $208,000 job. Matter of fact, she got a raise. Tell you. Let me see what her raise was. Yeah, she went from 186,000 to 204,000. You hear that? She got 186,000. She was making 186,000. Now, if this budget goes through, she's going to get 204,000. She's not worth none of that. She's not worth any of that. She's worth a jail cell. Like almost a $12,000 rate. 86. It's 10,000. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like a $15,000 raise. How? How are you getting a $15,000 raise when people are homeless? She's the reason why my building knocked down. I got a whole lawsuit against her in the buildings department, David Moore, the city of Chicago, and she getting a raise of $206,000. And this is what this is my bed right here. People gotta go to jail. I mean, we gotta get ourselves in positions to run, man. You can't run. Get your positions to be out here to help get other people encouraged to run. But I'm trying to tell you, do not come to me. I am not supporting any Democrat. I will never support a Democrat. Democrats have hurt us too much, and I don't want to hear nothing about Republicans. Let me tell you something. I'm my own Republican Party. I'm my own Republican Party, and I got my own Republican crew, and I have my own Republican elected officials. There's nobody that's going to tell me who they think I should endorse when it comes to the mayor. I know exactly who I'm endorsing and who I'm going to get behind. And I'm pretty sure you all know as well. So I don't want to hear anything. There's not nothing that y'all can tell me. I don't want to hear, we'll make a good alderman. Nah, I know exactly what position that we're going. We got our aldermen too that are running. We got a lot of good heavy hitters that's going to run. And we're going to make sure to see them to the top. I want Marshawn Price, whatever. But I'm not going to ride with her if she's going to be a Democrat, because Democrats, the Democratic Party is done. They're compromised. They don't care. They don't even know how. They can't even come off their high horse and apologize for the messed up things that they've done. So no. It ain't. The Democrats cannot do anything. They can't. Robin Kelly, super useless. Super useless. And Robert Peters, who's going after her seat because she's running for U.S. Senate, he's super useless. They're all useless. All useless. Super useless. Congressional Black Caucus, they endorsed Raja for the U.S. Senator, a whole Indian. You know what I'm saying? He was terrible. But at the end of the day, they say, well, is Juliana Stratton any better? Is Robin Kelly any better? So no, none of them are any better. So why are you endorsing anybody? But it don't matter because y'all don't do what y'all supposed to do as the Congressional Black Caucus. They should be done when nobody should be paid. They shouldn't get anything. I don't even know why they're even being recognized as a caucus. The Black Coon Caucus is honestly the worst of 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 the worst. Anybody that believes in the Black Caucus in 2025, when y'all are getting displaced at a rapid pace, you can't get no help. I ain't see one Black Caucus member stand with Marshawn Price and the 3 dozen people over there. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. Yeah. So it's every man save yourself. Literally. Every man save yourself. All right, y'all. Peace. Thank y'all. Please like, subscribe, share. Cut out the pieces that you feel like it's important and put it out there. And that's that. Bye.